Rebristi here with Revolutionize Your Marketing, Your Business, Your Life. I'm here today with one of my favorite people and partners, Steve Brown with ROI Online. Really excited to talk to you because we're going to talk about something a little different from my normal conversation where we talk about messaging and branding and StoryBrand, which is all great. Steve is a fellow StoryBrand guide. And but before we jump into all of that, Steve, why don't you do a quick intro into who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm Steve ROI Brown. I put the ROI in there because there's so many Steve Browns. But my agency is ROI Online, and we just help our clients, our business owners, progressive-minded business owners, get their act together online and grow the value of their business. Should it be with marketing? Should it be with automation? Whatever that might be, we're a co-partner in their success.
Yeah, thanks. Yes. Well, one of the things that I've got to learn as I've been working with you is really opening my eyes to the whole world of CRM and automation and improving your business processes all around. I talk a lot. My sweet spot is the branding and messaging and, of course, creating video content. But how do you manage all that and bring it together? I I can't tell you how much I've learned over just the last couple months getting work with you and your team, and I want to share it. So maybe talk a little bit to start when you're working with a new client, because you really are not just a messaging, branding, marketing specialist, but you are a business expert and you're really helping your clients do different things and looking at their business more holistically. What's a typical client look like for you, and how do you get them to understand what it is that you can do for them?
Yeah, I when I became associated with StoryBrand community, what was the kind of the missing piece that I felt was like this messaging piece that it created this framework where instead of us sitting around the table and us kind of arguing over what the message should be, we just followed a framework and we're all aligned, even with the client. But when you think about we're creating this great messaging and they have an expectation, where does it live? And it's going to be baked in somewhere, and oftentimes the default thought is in a website, but also it's like, shouldn't it be in emails? Shouldn't it be in a social post? Maybe your recruiting materials or your HR manual. There's many places that it should be baked in. And when I got to thinking about it, what we're really doing is we're taking this person that's a subject matter expert, be it a roofer or an accountant or whatever it is, but they found themselves in this day and time, in this age where they have to know how to do good online. They have to have like this website and these forums and chatbots and these other things that they didn't expect and they didn't sign up for, but yet their customers expect it. And when I started thinking about it, it's like, we need to be putting this in a system. And in the beginning, it was HubSpot. We were HubSpot since 13 years ago, before HubSpot was cool. But over time, HubSpot's gone upstream to enterprise, and it's very expensive. And you think about why is it expensive? It's because it's a very important piece in a business to have a CRM, to know where all your contacts are, what are the conversations going on, where are they? Are they a customer? Are they a prospect? Or are we doing service? You have to have a centralized place, and most businesses don't have that. They have it in a spreadsheet.
Yep.
It's in their email. It's on index cards. It's in business cards in a Tupperware thing in the car, right? And it's all over the place. And when we started getting people moved in and organized, all of a sudden they had clarity on these many conversations going back and forth with their customers and their prospects in a nice centralized place that empowered them.
Yeah. No, and it's funny, you're right. They've got a note card, sticky notes, which is so true. And these are smart people. We just talked to a client today, and smart guy, knows his space really well respected, and he's doing the old spreadsheet thing. And it works to a point, right? But he can't really have real time transparency into what his team's doing or where things are at. And if he forgets to go check that spreadsheet, then it just gets left on the spreadsheet. So yeah.
It's true. It's true, and they're supposed to run the business. So most of the companies. Did you know that 95% of the businesses in the U.S. have 20 or less employees?
Really?
Yeah. So what does that mean? That means there are people just like you and me. We have to wear all the hats in our companies. We have a team, but that means not only do we need to know our topic and know how to sell it and know how to deliver it, we need to know how to organize and communicate. And that means we need a tech stack that we have to move into. And that tech stack needs to talk to itself. And that's a tall order for someone to carve out their free time when they've been running their business, but now I need to go figure out a tech vehicle for my company to
Hmm.
adopt and implement. But what does it do? It's a big lever, it's a big competitive advantage. And that's where I really find that having a CRM that we can help settle them in, we're not just helping them publish their messaging well, we're helping them organize their processes.
Hmm.
Their business processes, their communication. We're helping unify a messaging with the team. You and I were talking about how people sometimes get offended by when we think about now we have these AI chatbots
Hmm.
that can actually interact with a client when you're not there. And the first thing that the folks say when I talk to them, "Oh, I don't want it saying the wrong thing." But if you back up, if are you listening to all the conversations that your employees are having?
Yeah.
There's a lot of wrong things being said. And so we're helping corral that messaging, make it more official, and then empower the team to be delivering the right message, which is what they want to do. They all want to do the right thing. But sometimes now you can take that up to a chatbot
Yep.
or artificial intelligence or back and forth. There's a lot of cool things that a company can do and don't need to hire more people. They just need to get organized better and take advantage of technology.
Yeah, that's such a great point. I think, especially in the world of AI now that we live in, it's overwhelming, it's confusing. And if you don't have a tool like a CRM where you can tie all these things together, you're just creating more chaos for yourself. So something that can be really powerful like AI feels overwhelming and maybe not, I don't want to say useless, but could get you in trouble because you haven't integrated it and you don't know, yeah, how to use it correctly. And I think to another point that you started touching on is just your team, right? So one of the things we have two new clients on our CRM that we're providing, and it is about sales now and marketing, and they are really dialed in, which tends to be an owner, small business owner is usually I'm very well versed on the sales side because they have to be. And now they're able to tie in with marketing and we can help them with that and leverage the tools and put it all in one, from email to AI chatbots, to calendars. It's just amazing what having a tech stack can do for you and tying it all together, having it in one dashboard just makes it easier to see everything, you know, and I am a HubSpot fan. I've been using HubSpot for years, but you did convince me it was time to move over to something a little less costly because HubSpot is going upstream. I've also used Salesforce before, and there's lots of great tools out there. How do you help a client decide what what tech stack, what CRM, like what are questions they should be asking themselves?
Yeah. So if you have let's say you have a team of 50 folks or so, and they're very sales oriented, then I would really encourage you to move into HubSpot. It's such a robust tool and it's very sales oriented. They're one of the organizations that back in the day, I was real apparent they had their sales down. They're really good at sales. They have these all these sales guys, and they are organized and they use their CRM, and that was real impressive to me. But if you're a smaller organization, maybe like today, I was working with a company, and they have three salespeople. They have a marketing person, they have an owner, and they have an admin, and they don't need HubSpot. HubSpot would do good, but it's like sometimes you don't need a tank. Maybe you just need a really good Lexus or
Mm-hmm.
something, and And I find that moving them in to something that's more customizable to them, the CRMs that you and I are using, they're very customizable. I see two camps, Salesforce and HubSpot are like, your team fits into this tool. Whereas the tools that we're promoting, this tool will fit your team. We'll just customize it and only use the features you need that that are valuable to you. And then we'll customize a system that really grows.
Yeah.
Uh, the team that I'm working with, for example, Reb, they've never had regular meetings with their sales team and marketing and admin. But what we're doing is we're unifying their vision. And now the marketing is working like a caddy to the golfer. Sales is like the golfer. Their job is to get the ball in the hole. But the caddy is like, let's strategize on this hole. Let's talk about the clubs. What tools do you need to be successful? And we're aligning not only sales and marketing, but the admin as well. So everybody knows what's going on and what to expect in the CRM and the opportunities, the follow-up emails. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think, budget obviously is a big part of that. We were talking to a client today and I realized he had asked about what's the difference and really interested in support. And I would say kind of my experience with Salesforce, now HubSpot, and our white label platform, which if you want to know what it is, reach out to me and we will let you in on our secret. But we're not going to tell you right now. Um, and the biggest difference, I think, you know, interface obviously is a little different, but overall it's about the same now. Especially I
Mm-hmm.
feel like on the sales side and pipelines. Support though, I do think because HubSpot and Salesforce are enterprise, you cannot do self-serve support with them. It's very difficult. They very much are pushing you towards a certified vendor. And I think that's a good reason because it is complicated. And
Mm-hmm.
they're not self-serve platforms anymore. HubSpot used to be, but it's really not. So I think for small businesses, you have to be looking for a solution where it's a little bit of self-serve, but then you do want to work with a team that really knows what's how to use it, how to onboard you. That's the other bit of advice I've learned. Don't try to onboard yourself. HubSpot says, "Oh, just watch our videos." All the platforms say, "Just watch our videos," but it really takes full time effort. It's just like don't sell your business on your own. You need advisors. You need somebody who really knows what they're
Yeah,
doing. And and on a side note, being on a CRM does make your company much more scalable and sellable if you're heading in that direction too.
totally. So you think about, you sell your business, and then what's the top of mind thing that someone who's buying your business is, how am I going to pay for this? But to have a system that's all set up to go, I'll show you how. Here's where your leads come from. Here's where they go. This is how you process them. And then this is all the customers and all the conversations. And we have all the backstory to everything. That's valuable. That's the that's amazing
Yeah.
for a company to come in and adopt.
Yeah.
Most of the companies, I noticed that they're absorbing, they'll roll up these HVACs or, these type of companies. And the first thing they implement is a structured sales and marketing automation system.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's if you are in a position or thinking about selling, system and processes is what the buyer's buying. They're not buying um yeah, your
You're
spreadsheets.
pretty
That's for
chart.
sure.
Yeah.
No, they want to know you've got good systems and processes. Oh, too funny. Well,
Yeah.
Steve, as I was reading through your bio, something I didn't know, but I learned is you have a book. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you have
Yes.
to tell me about this book.
So, I, in the back of my mind back in the day, I knew I needed to write a book, but I wanted it to be unique to me and my perspective on my industry and valuable to my customers. And one of the things that I learned from the StoryBrand process was the folks that read Building a Story Brand, when they came to us and they knew we were certified in the Story Brand process, we were a great fit. We made a great team. There were good outcomes and good success. And I realized that I needed to do something similar so that when people read my book, they would understand my process and my perspective. And if they liked it, then they would be drawn to our system. And if they didn't, then I wouldn't have to argue and fuss and fight with them the whole time, trying to convince them why I see that the way I do. So my book's called, it's a snarky book, but the
I
golden
love
toilet,
it. The golden toilet.
and it's stop flushing your marketing budget into your website and build a system that grows your business. And I want you to not see a website. I want you to see a system. I want you to build a system, because systems and processes are the most valuable thing that you can implement in your business. And your website is a unique part of it,
Hmm.
right? It's a part of a system. Why? It faces the public. It brings contact information into your organization. But where does that contact record go? In a Tupperware container? Or does it go in a spreadsheet? Or does it go in your CRM and the robots take over and start following up? Do your salespeople get notified? Do your service people, there's all these things that it should be happening, that the companies you enjoy um, giving your business to have these already in place.
Yep.
And your customers are expecting you to have a similar experience. And if you don't, you're losing out.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And one other thing that you said made me think too, turnover. Just, if somebody leaves, having all of that in one place, a record of every conversation they've had via email, and the automation part is great, where they don't have to record it. It's just automatically getting recorded. Like, think about how that makes your team more efficient, the company overall efficient, because there's turnover inevitably, right? People leave, people
Mhm.
come. It's going to cut down that training time, understanding of the client. So that's one of the things I hate when I call customer support and you have to repeat your story 5 times
Mhm.
over and over and over. That drives me insane.
I know. It feels like they're not listening,
Yeah.
is why. Yes. Yeah. I wrote my book to convey that I want you to see mainly four things. But you need your messaging super clear.
Yep.
That's where StoryBrand fits in. But it needs to live somewhere, and that's in a tech stack, and it needs to impact your marketing and your sales. And then you need to think campaigns, strategic campaigns. So if you run these campaigns, they're going to grow your contact list, and you're going to harvest that information, and your messaging is super clear. And so it gives you a competitive advantage. And so having these all packed into a system. I call it the growth stack. So
Yeah.
that's why I did
Yeah.
that.
And I agree with all of that. Uh, well, Steve, God, there's so much more we could talk about, and we will definitely have to do some more
Love
interviews
to.
and talk about as things progress with Rebel. Because we're still kind of new, and your team's been great about bringing us on, and we're learning as we go, implementing some things that we knew but never implemented, which is great. We're
Right.
actually doing some of our own best practices, and one of the things I'm confident is that we don't bring on new clients and we're bringing on older clients. We all are moving them to our CRM and our platform, because even if they don't use all the features, it's still got a lot of the features that we're using, we're piecing together with other tools, and it just makes sense to have them all in there. And then when they are ready to open up and start doing some other things, we've just got it all tied nicely together. So I love, love, love that for us and our clients. Before I let you go, any last thoughts or words of wisdom for somebody who is looking at, how do I improve my business processes? Where do they start?
Yeah, you're not crazy. I mean, everybody's experiencing all these things, and this technology is very intimidating. And I think the big value add is working with someone like Reb or myself that understands your business and can help you shortcut and quickly get moved in to a tool that's just right for you would be a smart move. And don't try to do it all yourself. I mean, there are people that are good, but all you're going to do is go through all the things that I went through, make all the mistakes that I made, and you can avoid that by just picking a good partner that can help you shortcut that process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely agree. Um, well, we're starting a new question. What's the best non-business advice you've gotten? Or it could
Not,
be business, but just
yeah.
your last question.
I think I think one of my biggest lessons is there's no silver bullet. We're always looking for that one thing that just makes everything better, and it's not. There's a system.
Yep.
You find the system, not the one thing, right? And even if it's in relationships, if it's in better health, better business, better hiring, there's a system that you should be evaluating, not one certain little thing.
Yeah, I agree. We call it the magic pill, but call it what you
Yes.
want. There's no easy path to building a great
Mm-mm.
business, but there are systems and roadmaps that you can use. So
Absolutely. Roadmaps. Great name. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I've enjoyed it. Reb, you're a good host.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you, Steve. Really quickly, if someone did want to get a hold of you or get your copy of your book, what's the best way for them to do that?
So the book's on Amazon or Kindle or Audible. I even read it on Audible. So the book's there, The Golden Toilet. It's the only book out there named The Golden Toilet. So, and then ROI Online is my agency. So you can go to roionline.com and find me there. I'm on LinkedIn, Steve ROI Brown.
All right. Thank you, Steve ROI Brown.
Thanks, Reb.